Today's video, I'm going to answer some of the questions that you sent it to me through my email. Hello guys, and welcome back again to my channel. My name is Buyucan, your friend here, and if you are new, welcome. And in my channel, I love to talk about life in Canada. I love to share you guys the realities of living in this country, and I love to inspire people. So on today's video, I'm trying my best to answer some of the questions I received from my email. The comments that I receive from you guys in my videos, I answer it because I only have like 2-3 questions almost every day. So I have this chance, and I love to answer guys your questions. All the videos I'm posting here in the YouTube, I take it seriously, and this is part of my job, okay? Because I feel guilty if you guys ask this question and I especially look like begging, and I feel sorry, and I feel like, oh God, how can I do? How can I help this person? And I feel like guilty sometimes, but hey, I'm trying my best to answer you as much as I can, because of you guys, I'm here again in front of you talking to you guys. All the questions I receive from you guys, I actually write down in my paper, so I have like 4 pages here. So the number 1 question is, do caregiver can get paid bi-weekly or bi-weekly? So okay, so based on my own experience, again, it depends all in your employer, okay? So let's say your employer, it depends on your employer paid day, okay? Because where do they get their money? From their own job too. So if your employer said, can I able to pay you like every 15th of the month or 30th of the month or every 30th of the month, because this is what I got my own salary, then it all depends on the employer. So this is the question and answer under the caregiver program, okay? The new pilot program, even the new pilot program is my son. That's my youngest son. Even though the new pilot program is just silly you. Hey, why are you in my back? You're hiding. I thought you're upstairs. Okay. I'm actually hiding with them. They're upstairs. I told them to play here downstairs. They follow me upstairs. Now I came downstairs. They follow me again. That's how to be a mommy and stay home and working. Go upstairs. Number 2 questions I receive is, can employer pay direct deposit or cash or check? It all depends on your employer, okay? Because when my own experience, I take care of an elderly couple. They're cognitively okay, so they pay me by checks. For the younger people, like with the small children, of course they are good in computers, so they will pay you by e-transfer or direct deposit to your bank account, or it all depends. They can pay you cash, so it all depends. You first arrive here in Canada as a caregiver or a nanny, the first thing you have to open your own bank account, okay? So how do you do? Go to Google the company name, TD Bank, Bank of Montreal, Royal Bank, Scotia Bank. Those are the big banks in Canada. I know, very known, because I'm using Bank of Montreal. My husband is using TD Bank. So yeah, so it's up to you. Just make the appointment with them, or if you go and you see the bank, you stop by and go to the information and tell them, like, can I make an appointment? I'm going to open a bank account. You need to make an appointment with this, because unless sometimes they accept you right away if they are not so much busy, but most of the bank here, you have to make an appointment. So number 3 question, do live-in caregiver work like 24/7? Oh no, there's no way. There's no way you work 24/7 here in Canada unless if it is in your contract. Let's say in your contract you work 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. After the 5 p.m., you're entitled to go to your own room or go hang out in the mall, or you can go outside, whatever you do, okay, after 5 p.m. Unless if your employer wants you to work like extra hours, and your employer has to pay you. As a caregiver here in Canada, you are entitled to work like 5 days a week, and you are entitled for 2 days off. But I told you, it all depends on the employer. If you are working special holidays, because almost every month here in Canada, I think only month of March, we don't have special holidays in Canada. Otherwise, almost from January, February, April until December, we always have special holidays, and all employers in Canada are entitled for holidays, okay? So if in case your employer wants you to work like special holidays, the employer has to pay you overtime or time and a half. Okay, if you're going to have a Saturday or Sunday days off, you have to remember that in Canada there is no free. Okay, so whatever place you are going to stay for the weekend, you're going during your days off, you have to pay something amount. Okay, there's no free here in Canada. You have to remember that. Okay, I have another questions here. Do employer provide health insurance in Canada? Once you start to work in your employer, you are paying taxes, you are entitled for a free health care, but it depends on the province where you live. Okay, because if you live here in Alberta, we have a free health care. So we are talking about the free health care, like in case of emergency, you get sick, you go to the laboratory, these are the free. Okay, but it's different when we are talking about the life insurance, like accidental death. It has to buy on your own. Like me, I'm a self-employed and I'm paying my own life insurance in case of accidental death in car accident. Then I have some money left over for my family, so that's life insurance. Okay, but for the health insurance, it's a free for here in Alberta. Another questions: what if you get sick or have an appointment and cannot able to work that day? How does affect your salary? For this new pilot program is like they pay you by hours. So if you are working here in Alberta and you miss that day because you were sick, and no work, no pay. Okay, but it all depends on the employer, because you're entitled for a sick leave, but it all depends on your contract, because some employer, they can give you 4 days a year or 5 days a year for a sick leave. You're entitled for that. So it all depends on the employer. Do we file taxes in Canada? Of course. In Canada, there's no way you don't file your income tax return. Okay, so in Canada, if you are working, your employer is the one who responsible to give your T4 end of like first week of January or first week of February. You can file your income tax before end of April. Okay, Judith, this all your questions. Actually, I just write it down. Anyway, thank you for being one of my subscriber, and thank you for everyone. Okay, so anyway, one question from Judith: when you come to Canada as a caregiver, how did you get opportunity to get a driver license? Okay, what I'm going to share you guys is based on my own experience. So when I was a nanny, I work only until 5 or 6 p.m. So in the office, sometimes they close at 8 p.m. So what I do is go read the book, go get my learners first, like a test. You have to get your learners a test, written test. So you have to read the books, review the books, and when you are ready, go and test during off days. Most of the registry here in Canada, some offices open during the weekend, so you have the opportunity. If your weekend is your days off, you go and take the test, the learner test, and when you pass that learner test, in Alberta, we are entitled for 1 year before you get your road test. So once you have your learners, that within that 1 year, try to go and do the practice for driving. So for me, I enroll myself to AMA for 10 hours. After 10 hours, I'm still cuckoo driving, so I have to pay somebody else to drive me around the city before I expert, and by the time before 1 year or after 1 year, I do my road test. So that's what happened when you're a nanny. Okay? Or if you have a driver license in your back home, you bring with you here for the international driver license, you just challenge the written examination. After you have written examination, then go challenge your road test. So that's the rule here in Alberta. So I don't know the other provinces in Canada. I have another questions here. How long is the work permit? 2 years contract, then you apply your permanent resident. So this is the under new pilot program for this caregiver. When you apply this program, you already submitted your application for your permanent residence, right? So after completing and working as a full-time caregiver in Canada, then you have to let the immigration know that I completed the 2 years working here as a caregiver in Canada. You have to prove all the information. You have your income tax returns, tax assessment, a letter of employment from your employee that this is what you finish, and blah 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 blah. Once you submitted your information for your permanent resident, then you have to wait. I don't know how long it takes. How do you often to renew your work permit? Okay, so under the pilot program caregiver, immigration, once you arrive here in Canada, they will give you a 2 years work permit, open work permit, but it has to be working only under the caregiver program. Okay, so once your permit is almost close to end, like expired, and your 2 years is almost finished here in Canada, then you have to renew contract to your employer. You have to ask whoever sponsor you to come here in Canada. You have to tell them, like, I'm going to renew my work permit visa because I have to wait for my result for my permanent resident. Remember, once you are permanent resident, you don't need to have a work permit. You can able to work any kind of job. If you want to stay with your employer because the small children you look after, they like to keep you, or your employer want to keep you, then you can able to stay with them and you don't have to renew your work permit. How long is the process from applying until arriving here in Canada? To be honest, I have no idea, because it was in the from the immigration website that caregiving new pilot program was been like a 1-year processing, but because of this COVID-19, I have no idea. So we're just hoping for you guys who submitted last year. We pray it will be okay before December you receive your result of your applications. Is there any age limit for this caregiver? There's no age limit, as long as somebody want to give a job offer from you. You have the requirements, you pass all the requirements for the caregiver, you have the employer here in Canada, and that's very good. Can a male able also to apply as a caregiver here in Canada? Of course. What I said is most employer prefer to hire a female, but it all depends on the employer, okay? But remember, caregiver in Canada, they love to hire male, especially if you're taking care of an elderly man who is like need a physical assistant. They love to hire a male caregiver. Another question, which is better to take care, children or elderly? If I were you, if there's a job offer for you overseas, you have to take that opportunity and grab it, okay? The most important, you have to come here in Canada, but you need to have the experience of taking care of children and elderly also, okay? Because it's not easy to find an employer who's going to hire you overseas, I swear. Unless if they're your family, they're your friend, or somebody recommend you, then that's the time you can either take care of children or elderly. But if you're going to look for the online or internet or agencies helping you to find employer here in Canada, please, either elderly or children, take the opportunity if there's an employer for you. If one earns the minimum wage in Canada and has a family, will the salary be sufficient for a family upkeep if there are 3 children? Okay, this is the reality here in Canada. If you're going to apply this pilot program, the caregiver, either you bring your family with you at the same time, or you can come here and then later you can bring your family. Just in case you apply to come as a whole family here in Canada, remember, whoever, like for example, you as the main applicant, the wife, your husband, the immigration will going to give an open permit for your husband. So you can able to survive here in Canada because your husband have a work permit, open work permit, so he can able to work any kind of job. But you as the main applicant, work whatever you apply here as a caregiver. Mostly people here in Canada survive by minimum wage. All depends how you live, right? Because if you rent an expensive house, you have an expensive vehicle, then your minimum wage is very tight or not even enough, okay? Just in case you are working to this family and you taking care of their small children. So after 2 years, you got your permanent resident and you want to go and find another job because you want some higher salary, right? Or you can go to school and this employer want to keep you because they have a good relationship between you and the small children. The children like you and they have a hard time to find another nanny or a caregiver. So you have to make an agreement. If you want to keep your employer, you have to make an agreement for your salary, okay? Because you are already a permanent resident, you want a higher income, right? So you have to make an agreement with your employer as a salary increase from them. And it's not bad to ask people in your employer's salary increase, because once you are working outside, you can, especially when you work as a caregiver, if you continue your caregiving job and you work in a long-term care facilities, you can make like between $20 to $28 per hour, okay? So it all depends on the company. But if you want to have an increased salary, you have to make a deal with your employer. You ask like some increase for your salary. Disclaimer again, I'm not an immigration consultant, and obviously I'm not a lawyer immigration. So if you have any questions and you want more information, ask those professionals, and they can guide you, especially on your own applications. If you are overseas and you want to come here, you better get some agencies who can guide you and those immigration consultants, because that's their own expertise. Okay, so anyway guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you for my next video, and God bless you, and bye bye.